Hey there, friends and enemies. Jopa here again, and today we got another trailer for the First Descendant. This one diving into the story, and I cannot wait. The beta is next week, if you haven't heard, and I'm very excited about this game. I'm looking for a new looter shooter in my life, and I'm really hoping the First Descendant delivers. So I can't wait to check that out. I'll have all kinds of coverage of the beta once it does drop as well, and I'm ready to dive into it. Let's check out this trailer and then give some thoughts afterwards. So.
I saw everything. The connection between two worlds. About a century ago, humans were defeated by the Vulgus. Invaders from the other world. Then came the Colossi, who destroyed everything.
Those look like the giant bosses we'll fight.
Humans resisted until they could no longer. Then they found hope. They were gifted the forgotten ancestors' power. Finally, they could fight with newfound strength. But another threat had emerged. Karel, the new leader of the Vulgus. His dark ambitions are driving both worlds to the brink of collapse.
Pretty standard sci-fi tale there.
Back. With the ancestors' power bestowed upon us. Descendant, can you hear me? I've been waiting for you.
I wonder who that is. Okay.
PlayStation.
So, yeah, overall, pretty solid. I think a lot of people don't play games like this for the story necessarily, but for me, as someone who's played Destiny throughout, who's played Outriders, all these types of games, I feel like the story is something that can keep people coming back. And if you get invested in a world or a universe of a game, I really think that can be very important to the longevity of how it works, because there's only so much types of content that these companies can put out. There's only so much so many raids, so many bosses, all that kind of stuff. There's only limited amounts because of development time. But if you can make the story engrossing, if you can add layers, one of the things from like Destiny 1 that they had was the Grimoire, or in Destiny 2 they have like lore, which allows you to dive deeper if you want. Having that available, I think, is very, very important, because while there are a lot of players who simply want to grind loot and get better weapons, make builds, all that kind of stuff, I do think there is a base of players who will play these looter shooters and really dive into lore. We see it with the big lore creators of other games like Warframe and Destiny and all that, and even games like Outriders, where they want to they want to get involved in the universe, and I think that's very, very cool. Now, if they do their cutscenes like this art style, I would find that awesome. It definitely looks unique, which I really do like, and it's something I hope they do more with, because Destiny has a cutscene art style they use sometimes that I really enjoy as well, and again, it feels different from what I see in other games, which is really cool. I hope we see more of that, because sometimes you can get these really cool flashy animations, but it doesn't have the same heart in those cutscenes as something that really feels unique to the game and delivers a really cool message. So the story, I think, is going to be fairly interesting, actually. I thought it was going to be another aliens, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what we deal with in every other sci-fi fantasy game that we see, like Destiny, like Outriders, like anything like that. So having it be interdimensional, I find that to be very interesting. It opens up a lot of options for maybe jumping between dimensions potentially, which is really cool, but also having a variety of enemies which you can pull from, and really make them not not feel like simply alien, but also you can get really weird with them. And the Colossi are interesting. I know that's something that they have been showing a lot of, and these boss fights are what has me most excited about this game. Hopefully, especially with the hard mode boss fights, it's really going to require you to make certain builds to get your characters up to a point where they're really, really strong, and you're gonna have to work with your team of three in order to take these big bosses down. But their designs so far are really cool. I do like that a lot, and hopefully we get a lot of variations of these bosses in the Colossi, because that's something that I'm highly looking forward to, and something that I feel like is missing from Destiny is there's two things I'd love to see in looter shooters that we don't see often enough: horde modes, right? And then giant bosses, especially ones you can kind of encounter in the world. If you can drop them down like an MMO where everyone's wandering around and then a world boss pops up, oh, that would be absolute game changer. And it's something that in this game, it sounds like you fight them separately in a different type of thing, but maybe once you get to past the story, or eventually you'll fight them in the world, which would be awesome. So that way, if you're doing just the main story stuff, or if you're under leveled, they don't show up for you. But then once you're at level, once you've defeated the final boss of the campaign, whatever the case may be, then they're dropping into the world. That would be, I feel like that would be sick. It doesn't sound like that's necessarily going to be the case, but it's something that in the future I would love to see from looter shooters in general, because I just feel like that aspect of, oh my god, this world boss pops up, everyone kind of comes together to work hand in hand to defeat it, is awesome feeling in MMOs, and it's something I wish we saw a bit more of in the looter shooters personally. So especially the full fully integrated games where you can kind of drop in and drop out co-op. Other than that, I think, like I said, I think the story has potential to be very, very interesting. A lot of people have compared it to Destiny with some of the almost ghost-looking creatures, the big orb, but this sounds like it's going to be very different as far as a singular enemy, primary enemy that we're gonna fight, and then also the Colossi. It doesn't feel like there's like a wide range of enemy races. It doesn't feel like uh, we're gonna be getting the variety of stuff that we got in Destiny, and that's okay. That's fine, and it doesn't feel like it. The more we see, the less comparable to Destiny it is. Obviously, it's a third-person shooter instead of a first-person shooter, so the gameplay is not going to feel like Destiny either. But I know there was a lot of memes going around of people saying, "Okay, here is a side by side of Destiny's Ghosts compared to this, Destiny's Traveler compared to this giant orb." So I hope we see the differences more than the comparisons going forward. Like this kind of aesthetic, fighting these giant bosses, I find very satisfying, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to in the game. Other than that, the Corel, I have a feeling is probably, I don't know if we're gonna defeat him in the first campaign, but considering this is a free to play game, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't get to actually defeat him right away, if that's like a long term objective rather than a short term goal. Um, but yeah, I hope we get a chance to fight all these different enemies, and I hope there's enough content to keep people interested, and they're able to develop the game over time and really keep it going, because I feel like there's a lot of potential here, especially as a free to play game, to add over time, and the game will feel very different after year one than it did when the game first launched. So I know that's not for everybody, but for me, I find that to be kind of perfect, because a game can launch and grow over time and expand and really become better and better and better, and learn what the player base really is looking for in the type of content that it produces. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to dive into the beta myself next week. I'm very stoked for that. My name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you want to see more of the First Descendant content from me going forward, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think of the game in the comments down below. So far from what we've seen. My name is JoPa again. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.